Okay, so we should be live. Hopefully everybody can see me, everybody can hear me. Um, there was some huge breaking news today that came out essentially after AEW Dynamite, which by the way, I enjoyed tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. And perhaps we could talk about that in a little bit, but we did get some breaking news, as you guys can see. With the title and the thumbnail. I mean, I'm putting it out there. Very, very, very big stuff today from AEW. And I look at this as a great thing because today we're talking about Powerhouse Hobbs, who is departing AEW. And I thought this was a very interesting story, and I kind of want to talk about this for a variety of reasons because in early September, there was a rumor that somebody would be jumping ship from AEW to WWE. And I remember at that time, I had just reached out to some people and there was nothing credible given to me, right? But there was something that was brought up about Powerhouse Hobbs. And when that happened, it was a very unique situation because we didn't know at that time in September, whether it was Powerhouse Hobbs for sure, or, there's obviously been rumors about Danhausen. There had been a lot of confusion regarding who it was officially. So we had heard of that particular name, but nothing really ever came to fruition. And we didn't know the contract status. So today, following AEW Dynamite, Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful Select had dropped the exclusive report that his contract ends at midnight and it is expected for him to go to WWE. WWE sources are expecting him in there. And this is obviously a really big deal. I think there's a lot of people in the chat joining us. So thank you guys if you're watching live. If you're watching on demand, thank you as well. I know the YouTube algorithm is definitely, it's definitely tricky these days. But if you guys could do me the kind favor of just simply clicking like on the stream. If you're not subscribed, that would also be appreciated. If you guys love what I do, if you guys want to ask a question that's guaranteed to be read on the stream, go ahead and consider dropping a super chat or becoming a member. But I definitely want to talk about this. Like the Powerhouse Hobbs situation is such a unique one because I do truthfully believe in my heart he is a relatively big signing for WWE. And I know there's people out there who are going to push the tribalistic stuff out there. But this is not about who's going to book Powerhouse Hobbs better. And the reason why I say that is because right now there's a lot going on in the WWE ecosystem. And there's only one place naturally where he can go and just truthfully ascend to the top of the card. And that's obviously NXT. If he goes to Raw or SmackDown, he's going to be waiting in line, which at that point I would feel probably would be considered more of a lateral move from AEW to WWE. But if he goes to NXT, he gets a nice little 6-month run, goes until Stand and Deliver. He can go in there and have a really nice run as the NXT champion, which, by the way, I would prefer not to see that. I would prefer not to see Powerhouse Hobbs in NXT. Truth is, I feel as if maybe it would be more suited for him to be on Raw or SmackDown. And I'm looking at what's going on SmackDown, and I see what they're presenting on SmackDown, and it's 3 hours, and they're freshening things up. I would move Powerhouse Hobbs to SmackDown. How WWE chooses to go there and position him on TV, I don't know. I did see a comment on my TikTok earlier that somebody had made, and they said, what do you think about Carmelo Hayes hiring Powerhouse Hobbs as a big body? And I thought that was an interesting idea, but I don't necessarily like it because Carmelo Hayes is kind of like a babyface right now. But I do like the idea of Powerhouse Hobbs having a feud with Carmelo Hayes. I think that would be a very fun storyline, especially with the United States Championship on the line. I could see that being relatively fun. I guess where I'm kind of going with this, when you look at the report, I think we should not be speaking so much about the future just yet. And we will talk about that. And of course, I'll pay attention to the chat and we'll see what you guys think. So, of course, drop your best fantasy booking scenarios. But I think really what we should be having a conversation about is, what did AEW do wrong with Powerhouse Hobbs? It's an interesting question, because depending on who you ask, some people will say, no, he was perfectly fine. And some people will say, hey, he was wasted. I would say my argument for AEW, and it's the thing that maybe bothers me the most with AEW, is the fact that Powerhouse Hobbs was thrown around a lot. Whether it be the Don Callis family, the Ops, Team Taz, I don't feel like there was ever a true vision for Powerhouse Hobbs to ascend to the top of the card. I don't see that on television since he's arrived in the company. I have never seen AEW truly position him as a guy that could go on and have like this amazing singles run. I felt like AEW always positioned him to go back and forth between groups, affiliations, things of that nature. The reason why I struggle with that booking, the reason why maybe I'm even critical of that, is because I think Powerhouse Hobbs has shown us relatively quickly since joining AEW that he could be like a world champion singles guy. And I don't know if people will debate me on that. But if somebody doesn't agree with me, I'm willing to have that debate. I'm willing to talk about it. But I feel as if maybe he has shown us time and time again he is a reliable talent. And maybe that's where AEW gets a little bit of flack, honestly. Maybe that's where AEW is a little bit, they got to be criticized a little bit. Because this is a guy who comes in, has the look, puts on a great performance. He could be a main event player. The thing is, with him going to WWE, we're going into WrestleMania season. I don't really see where that opportunity lies right now. I really don't. So maybe that's where I tend to think like, okay, maybe go to NXT. But he is a fantastic talent. And to hear the news that he is leaving AEW, I was genuinely shocked. As I've stated in the beginning of this live stream, I didn't really think it was going to be Powerhouse Hobbs. Based on what I heard in September, early September, actually it could have been late August, I really did not think it was Powerhouse Hobbs. It was a name that came up, but we didn't know the contract status. We didn't really hear anything. Like, it was kind of a weird thing. So that's an interesting aspect to all of it. Now, I want to pull up some comments from the chat. Then I'll talk to you guys about how I think he should debut in WWE. Yeah. Let's see. Jasper says he never had a major title push in AEW. I think that's a very, very valid point. He really didn't. It would have been nice, but he never really had that. They never gave him the ball to run with. They never did. Joe Shipley, 1544, says Hobbs versus Oba would be fantastic. I think wrestling fans love the idea of two big guys just going back at it. Right at each other. I'm good with that. I think that would be a fun feud, but that's not where I would do things right away. But I will revisit this comment back in just a little bit, because there is something I do want to say about that. Alberto also said the same thing. Everett Lloyd says, hold up, what's going on? What did I miss? How is Powerhouse Hobbs heading to WWE? Brother, Fightful dropped a report right after AEW Dynamite. His contract is ending at midnight, and it is expected for him to join WWE. I know some people are also asking about AEW Collision. Collision is pre-taped this week. It's not a live episode. So my assumption would be that the Ops are dropping the belts on Saturday's show, or they do some sort of angle and replace Powerhouse Hobbs. Definitely a big change of plans for the Ops, perhaps, because he is a current champion. This is a guy holding a belt. So what does this mean for Samoa Joe? What does this mean for Hook? How does it hurt the group? You know, just something to think about. You guys got to remember Shibata. I mean, technically, maybe they could do the Freebird rule. That could be a possibility. For the fourth time now, Dan, I don't know if you just joined us, but he's leaving AEW because he's choosing to leave AEW. His contract ends at midnight, and he is expected to go to WWE, according to Fightful Select. So, let's talk about Powerhouse Hobbs and how he should debut in WWE. Powerhouse Hobbs should actually debut in the Royal Rumble. If WWE were really smart, I think they're probably going to put him in NXT. But right now, there's just a lot of things going on before WrestleMania, right? We got the Royal Rumble coming up. I don't know. Do they put him on Raw, SmackDown, NXT? Who knows? But you should actually have him debut in the Royal Rumble, because the Royal Rumble the last few years, I think, has kind of been iffy with surprises. I think you need to do something to make it exciting. Powerhouse Hobbs should enter the Royal Rumble at 1 or 2. I think you can't go wrong with either option. Give him a very, very strong showing. If you want to tease something with him and Obafemi for the future, you could do a nice little spot between them in the Rumble. Have him get quite a few eliminations. Have him go quite the distance. He could get tossed out of the Royal Rumble. Not a big deal. If he's going to be on NXT, you can announce that he's the newest member of the NXT roster, whatever it may be. But I think it would be more effective for him to go into the Royal Rumble, have an impressive showing, and then whatever they want to do, they can do. Keep in mind, NXT has the ladder match on February 3rd. So that is something to maybe consider putting Powerhouse Hobbs in somehow, some way. But this should be really good, man. I think that would be a really fun way to introduce him to the WWE audience. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys like my idea for him in the Royal Rumble? Because I'm a massive fan of that idea. Regardless of where he goes, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, the Royal Rumble needs to be spruced up, man. It needs to be spruced up. You're welcome, Everett. Everett Lloyd, you're welcome, my friend. No problem. Damn, it sucks for AEW, but it's WWE's gain. And listen, man, let's call it what it is. There's a lot of people who are going to sit here and say Tony Khan fumbled and AEW dropped the ball, and a lot of people are going to sit there and try to bash AEW for this. But the truth is AEW has too many talent on their roster, and not everybody's being used. And quite frankly, there's a lot of people that are under contract in this company, and it's just too much. So it's really not a huge loss for AEW. It's a relatively nice gain for WWE. I think for WWE, you gain a potential future main eventer, right? Especially if you put them in your system and you teach them the WWE way. There's a lot of things you can do there, which I like that idea. I like that possibility. I like that opportunity. But what I will say is this. Does it suck for AEW? I think for AEW, their biggest problem is they need to learn how to compromise on something regarding the signings of their company, in their company, because it is not good. Like, AEW was a really fun product tonight, but look at some of the fresh talent we're getting in this company. Jake Doyle, tag teaming with Mark Davis. Like, we're watching some really good stuff on television with some new faces in the company. And naturally, there's just people that have been in this company for a very long time and they're not utilized. And if they're not being utilized, they shouldn't be in the company. And the same thing applies to WWE and the same thing applies to TNA. Keep in mind, AEW revealed that the Rascals have joined the company. AEW dropped a vignette for them. They're advertising the Rascals. That's Myron Reed, Zachary Wentz, Desmond Xavier, and Trey Miguel from TNA. So, strangely enough, Tony Khan doesn't mind opening up that checkbook. And I understand why he does it. But the problem is your roster is extremely bloated. So, does it suck for AEW? Yeah, but they benefit as well from shaking up the roster. In fact, I would actually encourage more people from AEW to get out of their contracts, or when their contracts end, go somewhere else. And it doesn't have to be WWE either. Like, it could be TNA. It could be New Japan. It could be NWA. There's a variety of places. And I think for some people, and listen, Tony Khan's got the money. And he's going to spend the money. But some of these other places could pay you well too. And if you're, Tony Khan doesn't have a cap space. There's not a salary cap. You know what I mean? What do you guys think? What are you guys thinking so far? I'm taking a look at the chat. What do you guys think? Do you guys seem to be pretty happy about this move? And listen, if you guys want me to read your questions, I want depth to your answers, because otherwise I'm not going to take it as serious. But if you come up with something nice, I will read it. I think it's very easy to just say yes, no, and then not offer context. And then at that point, it's really hard to take you serious or to really understand your point of view. But I do think for sure, like, we are at a stage with AEW and WWE. Like, this is a good thing for professional wrestling. It's a good thing for the Rascals to leave TNA and go to AEW. It's a good thing for Jake Something to leave TNA and go to AEW. It's a good thing for AEW to lose Powerhouse Hobbs. Like, you got to freshen things up. When you have these bloated rosters, when you have these things happening, man, you have to. I saw somebody did. Oh, I'm so sorry. Darth Bane. I didn't even realize I missed this. Darth Bane, who's been a member for 16 months, said debut in the Rumble and NXT until after the summer. And I'm good with that too. I think that would be a great way to go about it. I don't know what NXT's plans are. I know Tony D'Angelo is like kind of lurking right now. They just gave Keanu Carver a massive debut onto NXT's show. I like the idea of putting him in the Rumble. Put him at number 2. Put him at number 2. Shout out to Darth Bane for the membership, by the way. Thank you, bro. Archie says Hobbs would be better off to stay in AEW, where he could win the CMLL, IWGP, and the AEW World Title at the end of the year. Going to WWE, he'll be a jobber. Starks is a jobber. Mays is too. Well, I think we are going to fundamentally disagree on that. So I can't even entertain that conversation, quite frankly. Yeah. Yeah. Starks is definitely not a jobber. Mays is definitely not a jobber. And I will never argue with the idea of him winning gold in CMLL, New Japan, AEW. You'll never hear me argue that. So, C. Lopez, you got to be a little bit more creative than that, buddy. You have to be. You have to be a little bit more creative. You could do a little bit better than that. $19.89 Batman 1 says, interesting. It feels like WWE is stacked with huge guys, so hopefully he doesn't get lost. In AEW, he really stood out, in my opinion. I agree. I think the way they presented him in AEW was actually pretty damn good. Honestly, I really did. I think they did a good job of how they presented him. It would have been nice for him to get a singles push. That was my only complaint. It would have been nice to see him get like a legitimate singles push. I feel like him and Wardlow were two examples of like big guys not getting that big push. But what he did in Don Callis family, Team Taz, the Ops, I mean, you can't, maybe you could. I can't confidently say that it was bad. I personally enjoyed that, which is why it made me a fan of him. And to be in, in the first place, it would have been nice to see him. Honestly, it would have been nice to see him get a singles push of some kind, but WWE is also stacked with huge guys, but that's the way WWE kind of operates, man. WWE loves those big wrestlers. They like the Hoss type shit, and that's fine. AEW doesn't, and that's fine too. Everett says Hobbs is going to get the push he deserves in the WWE. A ton of potential matchups. An example, Braun Breaker versus Hobbs, Hobbs versus Oba. These are money matches for sure. Holy shit. Braun Breaker and Hobbs, I wasn't even thinking about that yet. I have not thought about that yet. That is a good one. I know you guys were saying Oba Femi earlier, but yeah, I like that. Good shit, Everett. If he becomes Dom's heater, you can do the angle like Dolph Ziggler and Big E, then destroys Dom and takes the IC title. Everything in wrestling is typically recycled, so I wouldn't be too mad about it. But I would just like to see him actually, if this was a way to get him to singles gold and like a singles push, I'm okay with that. Definitely okay with that. I don't know why you guys like the idea of Powerhouse Hobbs joining the New Day. I'm good on that. In digital film, shout out to you, man. He says, would it be cool if Hobbs and Jericho came in together? I think together they could elevate their presence on Raw or SmackDown and shake things up as heels and play off of their AEW past. I would not hate that, man. I wouldn't hate that idea. I think Jericho could very well be showing up on TNA this Thursday, so definitely could see that too. And then Jericho will come to WWE eventually, but it'd be pretty cool if Jericho showed up in TNA. Powerhouse Hobbs showed up in WWE. Eventually, they're all there. They all take a picture with Jade Cargill, Ricky, Ethan, everybody like that. Darth Bane said, hey, Ango, did you see this? The back body drop Darby took on the ring steps. My back was hurting after that, LOL. Yeah, man. Darby's crazy. He is crazy. He is like actually crazy. Like, I don't know, man. Darby Allin is just an animal. I think people get so mad when Darby does this crazy shit, but that's like literally Darby's character. If Darby doesn't do crazy shit on AEW television, like it doesn't, like, he is nobody. There is nothing else appealing about Darby Allin. It's not his promos. It's not his like physical in-ring ability. He's a daredevil. And I think that's part of the appeal of watching Darby Allin. So yeah, for me personally, dude, I mess with it. Like, I don't know. He's just an animal, bro. He's weird. He's weird. He's crazy. He's got screws missing in his head. That spot was insanity. And, you know, good for him, bro. Like, it ain't for me. It's not my cup of tea, but every time I watch it, if he falls off a ladder onto glass, my back hurts. If he does a coffin drop on just to the apron, like just simply doing a coffin drop on the apron, that in itself is something that really fucks with me, you know? So yeah, man, I seen it. He's crazy. I love Darby Allin. He's that's what he's known for. And WWE's never going to bring him in. He's always going to be an AEW guy. I don't think he's world champion material, but he's going to do the crazy shit that other wrestlers don't do. It reminds me a lot of Jeff Hardy in the back of the day. So, yeah. My back hurts after watching every match he does. Hey, we got our first super chat. This one came from James Stallings, $1.99. He says, Hobbs going from WWE Rascals to AEW. Wild night. Yeah. The Rascals going to AEW. I said it earlier. I talked about it in my content too. I don't know if you guys watched it. I don't know if the YouTube algorithm pushed it out to you guys. The YouTube algorithm is not pushing out content anymore. We finally figured it out. Basically, if you guys want to watch news videos, you just have to come to the channel because YouTube's homepage is basically just pushing shorts. They're not really pushing full videos anymore, which really directly impacts pretty much every creator. But what I will say is that I talked about it with the Rascals going to AEW. These are 4 guys who are charismatic and they're incredible in-ring performers. So as we talk about Powerhouse Hobbs leaving, for those who say AEW fumbled, no, you need to freshen up your roster. All these years have gone by. They haven't done anything substantial with Powerhouse Hobbs. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. But in the same token, you just have to be excited for when change appears. And that's why I think like TNA kind of dropped the ball. It came out that TNA was trying to sign them again. They tried to sign the Rascals. They didn't make it happen. Okay. Well, if that's the case, go to AEW and bring some fresh blood to the show. But I want to see more AEW departures. I'm down for WWE departures. I'm down for all these companies to mix it up because you don't want it to get stagnant. And it was a wild night. And I said this too. Dynamite was a fun show tonight. It wasn't perfect by any means, but it was a fun show. I'm really happy about what they're doing with the I'm personally happy with what they're doing with the world title picture. It's good for me. Shout out to James for the super chat. If anybody else wants to drop a super chat, please feel free to do so. It guarantees that your comments will be read. Boris says TNA aren't paying talent. Yeah. They are paying talent. They're not going to get outbid, or they are going to get outbid by Tony Khan. They will. TNA needs to figure that out. They need to figure that out. TNA will struggle greatly when they don't spend the money on talent. So Byron Cutler says Tommaso. You spelled Tommaso wrong, but it's okay. Tommaso Ciampa would be a great fit for TNA. We'll see what he does. I don't know what to expect from him. I don't know. I would like to think Tommaso Ciampa. I would like to think he'll do some good stuff, but I don't even know if he's going to be wrestling anymore. So that's kind of a problem. What happened to Wardlow? That's a great question. As far as I understand, he's still hurt. So as far as I understand, I could be wrong. Boris says, where's the AMC money going? Well, I don't know if they've been paid the full amount. So I can't really answer that for you. I don't know their books. Chris says, hey, Ango, I'm going to TNA Genesis this weekend and I have my Ango channel sign ready to support the channel. I will believe you if I see a picture of it. This has happened a couple times. I've gone to WWE shows and I've gone to AEW shows and I've gone to TNA shows. People say they will bring a sign supporting the channel. I've probably been told this 100 times. I've probably had it happen 4 or 5 times where I legit got picture proof. At one point, somebody brought an Ango show sign to AEW and it got confiscated. And no, I'm not going to sit here and act like AEW was anti-Ango. This was like 2021, I think. And it was like the arena. They had rules about signage. So that's why. But it was just funny because people do send me pictures, but not everybody does. Chris, if you're going and you're supporting the channel, take a picture of it. Send it to me, whether it's on Twitter or Discord or whatever it may be. You send me a picture of you and your sign at the show. I'll get you some Ango merchandise. So yeah, man. Abiotic says if Hobbs really leaves, good for him. Well, no. Well, it looks like it's happening, my friend. So get ready. Jose says, hey, Ango, I'm going to TNA Genesis, but won't have my Ango sign. Sorry, man. Yeah, that's fine, bro. I really don't care. Bring one, don't bring one. Love me, hate me. That's up to you, bro. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your time. James says Hobbs will not be in NXT. I don't know. Listen, I would prefer not, but NXT needs the help. NXT needs the freaking help. So, yeah. They need the help. Are people dropping the spoilers for Collision in the chat? Is that what I'm seeing? EC3 looks to be TNA bound. Yeah, so it looks like Hobbs Nick says WWE needs help because they are horrible right now. Ratings are terrible. Well, that's not true. Come on, man. Yeah, I think NXT needs the help with the men's division. I think they are lackluster, like very lackluster, honestly. Sadly. They got the best women's division in wrestling, man, but they don't got the men's division at the main event scene. Losing Oba doesn't help. Tony D'Angelo stagnant. Riley Anthony says AEW Collision makes way more sense to be live instead of taped. Yeah. Gregory Alvarado, shout out to Greg. Gregory's a member of the channel. He says, is EC3 showing up on Impact? Dude, his teases look like they are. It looks like he is. So I would like to think so. I would like to think so. His teases look like he's coming in. By the way, he should. Sauce, you're okay, man. You're fine. Hey, I'm not tripping about it. I think everybody knows that he would be dropping the belt, so I'm not tripping about it. You're good. I was just looking on Twitter to see if somebody posted a picture of it, but come on, man. As soon as we found out the news, I think it was pretty obvious with Collision what was happening, and that's totally fine. So don't even worry about it, Sauce. You're good, man. The thing, Nick, that I want to tell you, it's you could disagree on subjective things for sure. You definitely can. You're more than welcome to disagree on what you like, dislike, things of that nature. I will never say no. Your interpretation of the ratings or numbers or statistics or ticket sales or money or this and that, I mean, those are numbers. It's not subjective. That is not a subjective take. It's not. Whether you want to admit it or not, like Raw had like 3 or 4 million viewers live this past Monday. Like, those are very good numbers. I think you can make a more of an argument about AEW Dynamite and NXT maybe, but you can't argue with the numbers. You know, 316 MMA says Anna Jay needs to go to NXT. You know, this is a strange one. This is rumored. Might as well talk about it here. It's been rumored for about a month or two that she was possibly leaving the company. How true that is, I don't know. I can't confirm that, deny it. But it is a rumor. And what is she doing in AEW right now? Is it anything of substance? I don't know. I don't think so. But again, it goes back to what I'm saying. Like, with AEW getting the Rascals and people coming and going, I think that's the best thing for professional wrestling. I really do. And I'm so down to have that argument with any other content creator, any wrestling fan. I think wrestling in 2025 was pretty shit, you know, and I've been pretty adamant about that. There was some great things all across the board, and there was a lot of bad things all across the board. My issue that I really had with wrestling in 2025 was it just felt very stagnant. It felt like everything was not really hitting hard, you know? And in my opinion, when you have talent leaving and going places and switching it up, I think it opens up for some fresh matchups that you've never seen before. And I think it also applies pressure. Like, TNA right now is getting slaughtered, bro. Like, TNA, I love TNA, but like, you lost Jake something, Killer Kelly, Myron Reed, Zachary Wentz, Trey Miguel, Desmond Xavier. You lost Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace earlier in the year. Leon Slater is basically doing a whole bunch of stuff for WWE. Like, he's probably next. But with new signings and new pushes, I think it tends to make the product better. And so I would make that argument moving forward that we should kind of encourage this. I think wrestling fans really want to do this whole ordeal where it's like, I think they really want to have this ordeal where everybody's so tribalistic. It's just not for me, man. It's not for me. And you guys will see the more that I live stream on this channel, just understand that where I'm coming from is like, I genuinely believe in my heart wrestling would be better if people left their companies. And there's people in WWE like Tommaso Ciampa, him leaving. We'll see what he does. But it's a good thing. You know, it is. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. We got a $9.99 super chat from True Flight. 1142. He dropped $9.99. He says, Myron and Rascals going to AEW is probably the reason why Leon versus Myron getting removed, not because of WWE UK tour. Now, according to the report from Fightful, Myron Reed apparently was willing to do the show. He was willing to commit to the show. I think it's a combination of both. What I dislike with TNA, and maybe they'll do something special, but if you knew this match wasn't going to happen, because apparently the Rascals have signed with AEW like early January. If you knew that they were going to be leaving the company, if you had any inkling, any inclination, any thought about that, replace Myron Reed with Javon Evans. Do another X Division Championship match. Do something with another talent from WWE. WWE has plenty of people they can lend to TNA. I don't know. Dragon Lee, Ray Phoenix. If TNA didn't have anybody else they can use, or they want to use WWE talent, they could have done that. Also, AAA, baby. They work with AAA as well. And so if you knew that Myron Reed wasn't going to be there, that would have been a perfect opportunity to do something with Leon Slater. And maybe they will. Maybe they'll do an open challenge. If he's not part of the UK tour, I think that's the way to do it. Shout out to True Flight, by the way, for the super chat. Thank you, man. I really do appreciate it. Anna J, you think her boyfriend would follow? LOL. Hell no. Actually, given the chance, I think Jack Perry would leave AEW if given the opportunity. Yeah, I do think so. I see some of you guys in the chat talking about Travis Scott. I've wasted my breath too many times in the past year about that. So you ain't got to worry about me burying that. I was low key kind of excited and they killed my excitement. So Darth Bane says, Angle, do you think Bayley will end up in AEW? Yeah, I could see that happening. Part of the reason why I don't think she would leave is because WWE, believe it or not, a lot of people are happy in WWE. But I couldn't be mad at her possibly going to AEW. I couldn't be. I think she's kind of like Britt Baker in a sense. Britt Baker would flourish in WWE. And I think Bayley would flourish in AEW. The internet will tell you that both of them are unhappy in their companies, but you can't believe that. So, Where did the news come out about Powerhouse Hobbs? Well, his name is Powerhouse Hobbs, and the news came out from Fightful immediately after AEW Dynamite. So the news came out that Powerhouse Hobbs is leaving AEW. His contract ended at midnight. Collision was taped. Spoiler! I'm not going to say it, but you guys should have common sense to know. And he's leaving. Mike says, a shout out to Mike, the best mod in the game. Bailey seems very happy. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm sure she would love to be world champion right now. I'm sure she would love to be doing more. I'm sure every talent, regardless of where they are, would love to do more. In a perfect world, Bailey going to AEW, like if she got paid, she'd probably take it. But I think there's people that are happy about where they are in WWE, man. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but I think that's true. I think there's a lot of people who, you know, they wait their turn, they do their thing, but it ends up being beneficial to them. Bailey's also the type of person, she had a great relationship with Triple H. And if she ever left WWE to go to AEW, I could see her coming back to WWE. I thought your CM Punk video today was awesome. More videos like that would be cool. Dude, I'll be honest with you. They take up a lot of time. And right now, if I'm going to be so truthful with you, I'm going to be so honest and so open about this. YouTube's algorithm is really just messing me up, bro. For the first time in 20 years of doing YouTube, I just don't understand what is happening here. The truth is, with WWE and AEW, the products are fine. There's a lot of stuff to talk about every day, but YouTube is not pushing out full videos. Like if you check your homepage on YouTube, they only show like 5 shorts and then like 1 full video. So it's not getting pushed out, man. And it gets really frustrating because we have such a great community and we have such great people watching. And I really do bust my ass on this channel. But like I used to be able to get 15 to 20,000 views in a video overnight. We're doing like 5 to 6,000. So the YouTube algorithm has really changed things, and it's okay. I mean, whatever YouTube does, they do. Hopefully it all continues to go well, you know. But for me personally, it doesn't even matter. For me personally, I love YouTube. I love what we're doing. And I'm going to be doing what I do regardless. So YouTube is just kind of hitting a weird period. And I would do more videos like the CM Punk one. And it was fun. Don't get it twisted. It was very fun. And I love that kind of stuff. It's artistic. And I love when I could be a little artistic with my content. But I think you guys largely subscribe for wrestling news and rumors. And so for me, what you guys will tend to see is more shorts and live streams and things of that nature. So Mr. Hanky says YouTube doesn't want you to make money, buddy. That's not what is happening with YouTube. Right now, there's just a lot of channels that are using AI spam. So they're spamming videos that are fake and like AI, and there's a regulatory issue with that. So from my understanding, from what I've been told by other content creators, is YouTube is trying to go after these channels that are creating bullshit, and changing the algorithm kind of helps with that. I don't know how true that is. Maybe it's permanent, maybe it's not. I don't think this really has a lot to do with I don't think it has a lot to do with YouTube and money. I think it has a lot to use more of this other stuff. Now, what I will say is this. I have a Kick channel. Kick.com/Ango. I have a Twitch channel. I'm going to be doing more videos and more live streams, and maybe we'll multi-stream or something. I will tell you guys this as well. Moving forward, I am solo live streaming. So am I on Kick now? Right now? No, I'm not on Kick right now. Kick doesn't really offer the ability to grow, so I don't know. It's kind of tough. But eventually, like, I'm going to figure that out. And that is what it is. I have to kind of rethink my strategy because, unfortunately, like I said, I'm going to be live streaming solo. Nothing against Billy. It's really nothing against Billy. I got to be focused on what I want to focus on, which is us and our community. And Billy's availability changes all the time, and it's kind of hard to work with that. And you know, when I create content and we have a schedule, and if you can't make it, you can't make it. And by the way, Billy has good reason for not being able to make it, 100%. And that's why I said, like, I'm not focused. This is not like, oh, I'm kicking Billy off or whatever. It's just I have to go and do my live streams because I personally enjoy live streaming. If I don't live stream, I am genuinely unhappy. It's the weirdest feeling, bro. It's the weirdest feeling. I wish you guys knew what I'm talking about. Like last year, the last few years, live streaming was such a big thing on this channel. And there was times where we were getting 300 to 400, 500, 600, 800 live viewers. We were going crazy on this channel. And I feel like things kind of slowed down. I brought Billy in, and that became a fun thing to do. But then inconsistency. So yeah, man, I just kind of have to go in my direction, and that's kind of why. So we'll see. Maybe I'll live stream at night after the shows. Maybe I'll live stream. You got to think, man, I'm planning a wedding, so it's naturally harder to. There's a million things I got to do in a day. Can I get a new co-host? I mean, if there was a co-host that would be willing to do it or wanted to do it, I'd always be open to it. So I would always be down. I'd be down to bring in a permanent co-host. I've offered people before gear. I have microphones up the ass. I've told people, hey, I'll give you a mic. So my thing for sure is like, I'm ready to, I just have so much going on in a day. You know? So with so much going on, planning the wedding, making content, live streaming videos, like that CM Punk video is such a fun video. Real ones remember me. Real ones remember, like 2015, I had the What Went Wrong series. So not Ango, you just built up your brand for 2026. Yeah, man. I try to help people. You know, sometimes people will hate me in this community, but one thing I'm very, 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 very adamant about is trying to help other people grow. We helped Billy get to 6,000 subscribers, and you know, we've had plenty of calls. I've helped Real Take Wrestling, Omer. I mean, there's a lot of guys and girls who create content. I've helped them out privately, and I try to always pay it forward because back in 2011, 2012, when I was doing YouTube, I was, you know, Tony Pizza Guy, Tubby Emu, they were helping me. CM Pulse, right? Helped me. Valen Plana Productions, like, dude, a lot of guys helped out. A lot of guys collaborated. A lot of guys shared information, and hey, this is what's happening with YouTube. Hey, this is what's happening in wrestling. Hey, this is a cool idea. Hey, this is a video. JD from New York. You know, me and JD have collaborated plenty of times. You know, so it's like when you have those conversations and when you do that stuff with content creators, I never want to gatekeep. I always try to, you know, BDE was another one. Like, I introduced BDE to a lot of people in 2018. Now he's like the biggest wrestling content creator in the world. When I went full time with YouTube, who reached out and gave me some advice, some good advice? BDE. You don't forget those things, you know? So I try never hold back. I always try to help people because people try to help me. So it is what it is. And that's why I'm really focused on me and the live streaming and the videos. And I don't know what the YouTube stuff will be. I don't know the YouTube algorithm, whatever. But my point that I'm making, we're getting so far off track. It's fine as we come to an end. But my point that I'm making, though, is that I want to do more, and I can't control the algorithms. I can't control the algorithms, man. So, but I can control my work ethic and effort. So yeah, man. And don't be getting mad at Billy either. Like I said, he has a very, very good reason for why he's not on the live streams. You know, we were just talking about, he's like, I'm not going to miss a day. I'm not going to miss a day. I'm not going to miss a day. And then sure enough, he can't make it. And it's for good reason. So I'm not mad about it, but this is my full-time career. I can't slow down or stop. You know what I mean? So I just have to be adamant about that. If anybody else wants to drop a super chat, you guys could do so now. We'll give it a minute or two and we'll call it a day. What do you use for your background? It's perfect. Shout out to Harris Heller. He uploaded it publicly. Ango needs to do Roman's entrance at his wedding. Yeah. No. My wedding entrance is going to be so crazy lit, but it's not a wrestling entrance, dude. Cornell, you're the man, Cornell. You're the man. No more YouTube chat. Ango's going to Netflix. Listen, if Netflix called me and said, bring the Ango show live to Netflix, I just hope you understand why I would say yes. I just hope you guys would understand why I would say yes. That's all I'm saying. I did the Amazon deal in 2021. When I did the Amazon deal in 2021, that was an amazing experience. If Netflix called, and they wouldn't, by the way, they're not calling me. But if they did, you know. So yeah. I am largely on TikTok as well, and TikTok is amazing. I love TikTok. We have found a lot of success in 2025 with TikTok, and I'm hoping that success continues. We're off to an amazing start in 2026. So we are continuing on TikTok, videos on YouTube, and we will continue to grow. I collabed with Santi and JD. We did something together. So that was cool. And maybe I'll do more stuff like that. I don't know. Do you think Matt Riddle should return to WWE and compete in the United States title picture? Absolutely the fuck not. Sorry. No. Yeah, Powerhouse Hobbs deal is out. It's midnight. Yeah. You guys, you need to start a podcast like CVV. Like, you want me to do interviews? Because I'll do it. Yeah, I did a collab with Con Man as well. I saw that, David. Yeah. Yeah, we do the WrestleMania thing on JD's channel and my channel. People want to hate on my take so bad, but then it comes true, and then they're like, fuck, we have to admit Ango was right. Those are hard times, man. But JD was always a nice guy. Me and JD went to a couple AEW events long time ago. We met each other there, and he was always nice to me, man, and I never forget that. And You treat me with respect, I treat you with respect. You treat me like shit, I will treat you like shit. So Powerhouse Hobbs news was absolutely incredible, man. There was a lot of good stuff there, and what a fun stream, dude. I miss kind of doing these late night streams. Honestly, I really do. And perhaps maybe if you guys are interested, we could start doing them more. I don't know. We'll see. But we're going to be live streaming more. What time? Probably 12 p.m. I don't know. But we just went for an hour. We'll probably start live streaming for a lot longer too, by the way, when we stream on 12. But we'll figure all that out later. Powerhouse Hobbs leaving AEW. Crazy breaking news. Great episode of NXT yesterday. Great episode of Dynamite today. Fun episode of Raw. Tonight, now it's officially January 15th. TNA goes live on AMC. I'm excited. I'll do some content around that. And then don't forget, guys, Friday SmackDown. Just crazy stuff ahead. Crazy times ahead. Shout out to Darth Bane for extending his membership for 16 months. Shout out to him. I really do appreciate that. James Stallings, thank you for your super chat. True Flight 1142, thank you for your super chat. Yeah. Cornell, you are right, man. You got to set up a permanent schedule. Well, I've permanently been doing 12 p.m. The only other thing I would do after 12, if I don't do 12 p.m., I would do maybe 9 o'clock to 11. And Beast, I answered your question 5 times now already. But yeah, maybe what we'll do is a morning show. Remember? I don't know. Do you guys remember when I used to do the morning show back in the day? Angle in the morning? Do we bring that back instead of 12 p.m.? It's harder for me to go live at night because I used to get tired. I don't know if you guys remember that. I used to get so tired. So, yeah, man. All good, Mr. Hanky, sir. All right, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for joining me. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys were awesome. Thank you guys for making this a fun live stream. We'll figure out the live streaming schedule soon. But for now, peace. Powerhouse Hobbs coming to WWE.